Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm at SMT 2014 in Nuremberg, and I'm joined by Rob Raine from DEK. Rob, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Started this morning with the launch of the Gemini, product that had been launched a couple of weeks ago also in China. Tell me what the motivation was behind developing a, whether you call it back-to-back, dual-lane solution.
Well, in a lot of ways it's recognising that the market has matured to the point where that's a requirement. We see more and more pick-and-place machines being double-sided. It means that customers are getting used to double-sided lines. The throughput requirements from customers are going up, which means they need to be thinking about how they can optimise their printing solutions to deliver those numbers.
Right.
Ultimately, we hit a limit where you simply can't print the board any faster, you can't clean any faster, and you have to think about doubling up. It's the same philosophy that pick-and-place machines have been using for a long time. You need more capacity, you add more machines.
Yeah, so a parallel solution. And is that parallel solution required because they're literally running thousands of boards down the line and they want to run thousands of boards down two lines, or are they mixing, or how does that work in terms of part numbers going through?
It's a combination of things. Some customers are wanting to run lots of the same product, side A, side B, mixed product, side A and side B. Sometimes it's literally just about the numbers. Pick and place machines, you don't want to be using single lane because you have transfer times added to the cycle times, so you need to feed two lanes. And this is really why customers need the printers to be able to keep up with that solution. There's also the flexibility. You don't want to have to stop a line to change over a dual lane solution. And then there's also the capacity and capability. So that with many dual lane solutions, side by side especially, there's always a sacrifice in board dimensions. So by having two separate machines, there's no compromise anymore.
Okay. And in some ways it looks like two machines that are slightly different shape and pushed back to back. One would think there's a little bit more to it in terms of development. What does it mean in terms of the demands on the machine to be able to run it in that configuration?
Well, most of it for us was going from a machine that has access on both sides in terms of maintenance and looking after the machine, to get a machine being on a single side. So what we've done is move the parts of the machine that were only available from the rear to the front. And then there is also some supply, so if we keep the supply of air and electricity from one corner of the machine, it's going to be in opposite corners when they're back to back. So one machine has to move it to the other side to make it easier for customers to match up the supplies.
Okay, so it becomes really, rather than a brand new machine, it becomes a piece of industrial engineering, a piece of development to make it operate in that way.
That's right, yes, and by keeping them essentially a standalone machine, it means that when customers' requirements change, when you go from needing a dual lane capacity to a single lane capacity, or moving those machines to other places to do different jobs, you've essentially still got a DEK printer with all that printing capability, all the inherent capability of a DEK printer. Okay,
and you said it was a response to voice of customer. What kind of customers were asking for it? What kind of sectors of business are they in, and are they OEMs, are they contract manufacturers?
We've really had it from all sides. The volume pressure comes from the OEMs, occasionally producing their own stuff still in volumes, but of course they push all that out to EMS providers so much more these days that the market feels to me very much more diluted in terms of these requirements. So EMS guys and OEMs are very often running relatively small batches, high changeovers. We need to redefine what high volume means these days in terms of batch sizes and recognise that thousands of boards means high volume these days, not the hundreds of thousands of the past.
And we're hearing all this talk in Germany about Industry 4.0, and that's batch size 1, isn't it, really? And you know, everything being mass customizable and those kind of things. Last question, in terms of the demand and in terms of that voice of customer, is there a variation in geography, or are those demands pretty much universal worldwide?
I think the demands are general, but there's obviously a peak in Asia where the high volume manufacture is all based. And those are the guys who are really looking at this hard. But I think it's got its place in Europe and the US as well, simply because you're reducing the footprint to get that capability. Obviously line length is always an issue. Moving the wall of your factory out is usually not an option. So being able to get double the capacity without extending the line has got to be of enormous value as we keep getting more and more pressure for the volumes coming through.
And it has just a final thing, it has all the capabilities, all the opportunities to add on things like Hawkeye, Proactive, all those kind of upgrades that DEK's well known for, that kind of solid.
That's right. The intention is that once we have all options available, it will be as capable as a Horizon. So it's the no compromise message.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that that platform that protects your investment eventually.
That's right, yes.
Rob, thanks for stopping by. Good luck with the rest of the show. I hope there's a lot of interest here in the German market, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks.
Cheers, Phil.